The Israelite Nation, Worldwide Ministries.
Had Nick Cannon. We could talk about this.
Yeah.
Nick Cannon came out and said what he said, right? He said a lot of stuff. Amongst all the things that he said, he did say that we are the children of Israel.
Right.
He did say that.
He did say it.
And I was said, well, applause. The following day or the day after, what it is, I seen him sitting down at a table with a rabbi or whatever, saying, brother, and there's things that I've learned and enlightening and whatever. He said all that. Yeah. And it's been quiet. It's been shh. Exactly the same thing that you just said.
Yeah, there are people amongst our own who are actually benefiting from us being in ignorance. And they want to keep you that way. So don't stir things up. So that's what the presence and the arrival of Jesus the Christ did. He upset the balance of things. And those that were in the establishment, those that were in power didn't like that, because there's change. Because if we're saying that we are the people that are in charge, get the message from God, and here you have someone who is there speaking boldly and challenging their authority and arriving with miracles and healing the multitude and providing for the multitude, and all of this is an open display. Somebody is saying, okay, well, if he's doing that, who are you guys?
It's exposing. The more he does, the more it's exposed.
Oh, yeah.
And we know our people, man.
Right.
We know how rumors, all we need to hear is somebody's eyes opened up that was blind. Right. And that's going to go from coast to coast. That's going to go all the way through all the tribes, and all the way back.
And to boot, he had people that were following him.
Yeah.
He's got a following now.
Yeah.
There is a movement. Yeah. And so, whoa, whoever was following that guy, whoever was seen with that guy, this is what they're saying. They were like, it's like the mob. I want them dead. I want them all dead. I want their family dead. Everybody dead. And so the guy that was saying I want them dead was Paul. Paul was the guy that went out, even though it's his own people. He's saying, and he got authority, letters. He was so well renowned that his presence, it preceded him before he even showed up. If they heard that Paul was coming, close the doors, shut down everything, get the children off the street. Paul from Tarsus is coming, and you can't hide from him, because he knows if it's a Sabbath day, I know where they're going to be. He's a Pharisee, right? If somebody sinned and then they need if they're going to be going to the priest, I know where they're going to be. So he knows the ins and the outs. You can't hide from Paul of Tarsus. Saul of Tarsus is what he was known as, and his reputation preceded him. So now he's on the receiving end of all of that. He's in court right now, and this is the situation, because the same high priest that gave him authority is now telling people to slap him in his face.
Wonderful story. Wonderful story. Oh, excellent breakdown.
I'm telling you, it's great. So we are here at
we're around 11. I think we just
verse 12. Verse 12.
Okay.
And when it was day, certain of the Jews banded together and bound themselves under a curse, saying that we would neither eat nor drink till they had killed Paul. I think this is important for us to observe and to know, simply because it gives you an idea. It gives you some you're opening the door now to see the type of people who you belong to, the type of people that you come from, that they will go to such great lengths so as to bound themselves in a curse and would not eat or drink until Paul was killed. Now, coming from Jamaica, we grew up hearing about stuff like Obia. There's some people who don't know about what these things are, but we do have to understand that regardless of where you're from, in the Caribbean, regardless of the island, even in the U.S., especially down south, They say that these things are cultural, but they're not really cultural. It's called iniquity. So in Trinidad, you'll have Shango. In other places, you'll have
Voodoo, Obia,
Voodoo, Santa Maria, all these
all that,
things. So that's what's taking place here. So they're bounding themselves under a curse. And this is spiritual iniquity, what's taking place here. So even though they know that they are the children of Israel, that they are quote unquote Jews, because that's what it says, even though they know that, they are still going to iniquity to try to do what? To make sure that Paul is killed. What did he do?
That's the key. You're going to do all because there's rituals behind that, obviously.
Right.
A hunger strike is what some would call it, but they're fasting. They're straight fasting, and they're doing this for the purposes of Paul's death.
Right. And something that like for people should know that's out there, like typically when people dabble in those arenas and do those, it's never for anything positive. It's never to say, okay, well, I want somebody to succeed. No, they do it because they want you to suffer like badly. They want things to happen to your family members. They want things of drastic nature to take place against someone else. You see, when it comes to evil, our people, they band together. And it might not sound like it's what people like to hear, but it's the truth. Like, they can get together to do some real horrible things and horrendous things, but to get together to do things that pertain to the truth,
no go. We're under, I say we, we're under occupation.
Under occupation.
And why not band together?
Right.
And fast and pray that God would kick the Romans out of our land. You know what I mean? No, that's not what's happening here.
Not at all. Not at all.
I will not eat or I will not drink until Paul is dead.
Yeah. They bound themselves together under a curse, saying that they would neither eat nor drink till they had killed Paul. And there were more than 40 which made this conspiracy. And they came to the chief priests and elders and said, and they're open about it too.
That's what's terrible, man.
Yeah. So they came to the chief priests and the elders and said, we have bound ourselves under a great curse, that we will eat nothing till we have slain Paul.
So priests, chief priests,
the elders,
high priests, elders, let it be known that we have worked iniquity today.
Yes.
And we're coming to you and letting you know we've worked iniquity so that we can have Paul killed.
Yeah. Why would they be so comfortable with saying that to the chief priests and elders?
That's the point. They should not be comfortable.
No, but because they know that the chief priests and the elders want to accomplish the same thing.
Wink,
wink. Wink, nudge, nudge. You know, like, go ahead. And it gets interesting, this story here. And verse 15. Now therefore ye with, this is what they're saying. Now therefore ye with the council signify to the chief captain that bring him down unto you tomorrow, as though you would inquire something more perfectly concerning him. And we, or ever he come near, are ready to kill him. So you see the deviousness of what they're planning. They're saying, summon him because we want to hear something more about his testimony. So just bring him down to the court again. And while on his way down to the court,
we got the rest.
Yeah.
You do that, we got the rest.
Yeah. These people, our people.
Unfortunately, you have to say
our people. Yeah. Yes, it is. And verse 16, and when Paul's sister's son heard their lying in wait, he went and entered into the castle and told Paul.
You know, this is, I didn't mention this because it's not proven, but there's a flow in this story here. You know, when you go back up to the chief captain,
right?
You know, the chief captain looked and said, "Hey, let's grab him before they kill him." And then when he grabbed them, the next thing that happened, is the Lord stood by him.
Right.
You know what I mean? So can you separate that? Are those two separate acts? Is that the work of the Spirit?
That's precisely how the Spirit works.
It would have to be.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Right? And don't worry, we got to get you out of here. Don't worry about it. And then all of a sudden, Paul's sister's son is around somewhere.
Yes.
And he heard this.
Yeah.
Right? The work of the Spirit, and going back to the point where if this is the work of the Spirit that we're seeing, and it is, the work of the Spirit went with that chief captain who is a white man.
Yes.
Right? A Roman.
Right.
Not a servant of God. Right? Just to make sure that his man would be taken care of.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
And that's how it works for us. Like we don't look for these things to happen, but you know what? You pray and you ask for the protection. Hey, sometimes, who knows, your car won't start for a particular day, or there's something wrong, and you actually leave later than what you typically would leave, and then you find out that on the way there that there's this major accident up ahead, or even the airplane. One time for us in particular, they took hours to leave. And it's like, well, everybody's on the plane is getting upset. They're like, oh man, it's like, hey, don't worry about it. They're taking ice and everything off the wings, so let's just chill, relax. Yeah. And that's the confidence of being who we are, being and serving the God that we serve, being the family that we are. Just don't worry about it.
And you see the stark difference.
Yeah.
On one side, these guys got to go cut their flesh and fast, and set up and go to the chief priest and make deals. This is how we're going to get them. And Paul is powerless.
Yes.
And all these things are just happening so that he's okay.
Yes. That's one of the things that should be noted, is that there's a saying that cleanliness is godliness. It's next to godliness.
Yes.
The Spirit, the way the Spirit is supposed to work, it's clean. Yeah. You don't have to get into filth. Yeah. And do anything dirty. Yeah. It's clean. Yes. That's how the God of Israel works. That's why he talks about clean and unclean. It's a clean spirit. Yeah. So you don't have to dabble and get your hands dirty to do all. When you got to get your hands dirty and do all those sort of things, it's not the spirit of truth.
Spirit.
That's true.
It tells you what spirit.
Yeah, and that's why
goat head and all that stuff.
Yeah,
you know what's coming.
You definitely, because you see how the interaction is. Like there's nobody jumping up in their head, spinning around, and eyes rolling back in their head. There's none of that. It's clean. Don't worry, Paul. Things are taken care of. Send the Spirit to your sister, your sister's son, and there you have it. Somebody gets alerted, and things work out.
And you could even dig deeper, because Paul, who's in the scenario, he may or may not be seeing this. Probably he's like, after all these sequences happen, he's like, thank you.
Yeah.
But the chief captain has no idea that he's being, pushed to go take care of this.
Oh yeah.
The son, the nephew has no idea that he's being positioned for this to happen.
Yep.
Spirit, like you said, the Spirit is clean, quiet, seamless, and everything's moving with much impact.
Definitely.
Much impact.
That is the way the Spirit of truth works. The Spirit of the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the
Amen.
God of Jacob.
Amen. Yeah. Amen.
Works amongst his people clean.
A pause for the cause.
Clean like water.
Clean like water.
And it says here, verse 16, and when Paul's sister's son heard of their lying in wait, he went and entered into the castle and told Paul. Then Paul called one of the centurions unto him and said, bring this young man unto the chief captain, for he hath a certain thing to tell him.
Right back to the chief captain.
Yeah. Bring the young man to the chief, because he has something to tell him. Yeah. So he took him and brought him to the chief captain and said, Paul, the prisoner, called me unto him and prayed me to bring this young man unto thee, who hath something to say unto thee. Then the chief captain took him by the hand and went with him aside privately and asked him, what is it that thou hast to tell me? There's a lot of detail. You can see the detail that's taking place there. And he said, the Jews have agreed to desire thee that thou wouldest bring down Paul tomorrow into the council, as they would inquire somewhat of him more perfectly.
All their planning.
Yeah.
All of their fasting. All of the little secret meetings with the chief priest.
Yeah.
All of that stuff busted in a moment.
Up in the moment. And it says here, but do not thou yield unto them, for there lie in wait for him of them more than 40 men, which have bound themselves with an oath that they would neither eat nor drink till they have killed him, and now are ready, looking for a promise from thee. So the chief captain then let the young man depart, and charged him, see thou tell no man that thou hast shown these things to me. What people aren't realizing is that, okay, there is a prisoner, like you're the governor, or you're the person in charge here. You're the chief captain that's in charge here. So there is a prisoner, and there's a trial awaiting. And this person somehow loses his life under your direction, under your command. That's gonna look bad on the chief captain. Like, how can you let this happen?
A Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah.
If he gets Epstein.
Yeah. But only this, it was going to be a lot more brutal than that in this situation with Paul. So he might be thinking of that, but not knowing that what he's doing is actually the work to make sure that Paul is safe and secure, and that the whole conspiracy is broken up. So it's a very interesting story. And it says here that in verse 23, and he called unto him 2 centurions, saying, make ready. Now this here this blows my mind. It says, make ready 200 soldiers to go to Caesarea, and horsemen 70, and spearmen 200 at the 3rd hour of the night. A score is 20. Right? A score is 20. So 70
Plus 10.
Yeah. So 70 men, in addition to horsemen, and 200 soldiers.
So when you count that up right there, that's 470 military apparatus.
Yes, of the Roman persuasion.
Right.
This is Rome, and these are the guys with the 6-foot shields.
Yeah.
And the spears.
Yep.
Like the most mighty army. Yeah. At this point in time, there is no army greater than the Roman army.
Yes.
So this is what's being prepared. These 470 soldiers are being prepared. And it says here in verse 24, and provide them beasts that they may set on Paul, and bring him safe unto Felix, the governor. So take him from where he is. Yes. Don't let him walk. Let him be on a horse and be protected. Yeah. And bring him to the governor.
Further protected.
Yeah. We're not talking about the local councilman.
Yeah.
We're not talking about the local politician.
Yes.
Bring him to the governor of Jerusalem.
Yeah. Don't keep him with a couple soldiers outside late at night, so these guys will come around the back and sabotage everything.
There is absolutely no way. Send that protection detail as if you're sending a protection detail for Caesar himself. Like this is something else.
That's big.
It is huge.
That is big.
And verse 25, and he wrote a letter after this matter, Claudius Lysias unto the most excellent governor Felix, sending greetings. This man was taken of the Jews, and should have been killed of them. Then came I with an army, and rescued him, having understood that he was a Roman. See, that's the intelligence of Paul, because he spoke several different languages. So when he went up, this is part of the whole trial, because when he got up to speak, he addressed the judge, so to speak, in Rome, as a Roman, and said that I'm a Roman citizen. Yes. And yet when he spoke to the Pharisees and the Sadducees, he's saying, I'm a Pharisee. Yes. I'm just like one of you.
In other words, I'm one of you, and I'm one of you.
Yes. Yeah. So the intelligence of Paul, many times it goes unappreciated. And because of his intelligence and the way that he writes so eloquently, it confuses a lot of people. That's why we always say, don't try to navigate this book. unless the Israelite Nation Worldwide Ministries, unless Elder Shadrach has taken you by the hand to bring you through this here, because you're never going to understand the
nuances.
The nuances.
You're not going to.
You're not going to understand how Paul is, what his story is all about. It's not just, something that you try to sweep underneath the rug. As this book, you just can't just sweep it underneath the rug and say that you understand it. Because there's a lot of people that like to say, well, I'm going to go on to read this particular book here because this book here has something to say.
Yeah.
But you haven't even grasped. Yeah. You haven't even got the basics. You can't even handle this book here. How are you going to go someplace else when you haven't first been nurtured? Your roots have not set. You don't even have the understanding of this book to know what it's all about. To know that from the first testament to the second testament, it's seamless. It's a seamless transition. It's just like from one day to the next. You know,
you said in one of your lessons on a Saturday, we're not interested, and it's so true.
Yeah,
we're not interested in your teachings.
Mm-mm.
And it may sound like it's coming from arrogance. It's not at all arrogance at all.
No.
Right? It may sound, as some may say, ignorant. We all learn. Everybody teaches and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Understand, there is a God. I don't know why this always goes missed. There is a God, and if there is a God that sends the Spirit of truth, as it is written, then there has to be answers. This is our book, so we must know our book in order to perform our vows. We have to keep our oath, our side of the bargain. So